Our chief reporter, Kaveh Solokol, has come back on set. Kaveh, oh my goodness. How do you react to that?
Well, look, the first thing you should say is that referees are human beings. They make mistakes like everybody else. They were working there in a very highly pressurised environment, and they made a mistake, and it was a big mistake.
Arsenal were left seething after full time as officials reportedly admitted that Harry Maguire's handball should have resulted in a penalty, confirming fears that Mikel Arteta's side were once again robbed of vital points by a catastrophic VAR failure. The post-match admission has only intensified the outrage, turning what was already a controversial moment into another damaging chapter in Arsenal's growing list of officiating injustices. The flashpoint came in the second half of a fiercely contested encounter, with Arsenal dominating possession and piling pressure on Manchester United's defensive line. A sharp Arsenal move saw the ball whipped dangerously into the penalty area, forcing Maguire into a hurried attempt to block. As the ball travelled across the box, it clearly struck the United defender's arm, which was away from his body and unnaturally positioned, stopping the ball's path and killing a promising Arsenal attack. The reaction inside the stadium was instant. Arsenal players surrounded the referee, fans roared in disbelief, and even opposition supporters appeared to expect the referee to point to the spot. Replays shown on broadcast and inside the ground only strengthened the case the ball made clear contact with Maguire's arm, which increased his body's surface area and directly affected the play. By the letter of the law, it was a penalty. Yet somehow, VAR chose not to intervene. After a brief check, play was waved on, and Arsenal were left stunned. No pitch side review. No second look. No justice. The match continued, momentum disrupted, frustration mounting, and eventually the final whistle confirmed dropped points for the Gunners, points that could prove decisive in a season defined by fine margins. What followed after full time poured fuel on an already raging fire. Reports emerged that refereeing officials later acknowledged the decision was incorrect and that Maguire's handball met the criteria for a penalty under current laws. Another apology. Another admission of error. Another reminder that when mistakes happen against Arsenal, they are often recognized only when it is too late to fix them. For Arsenal, this was not a minor refereeing error, it was a result-altering decision. In a title race where one draw or one defeat can change everything, being denied a clear penalty in a crucial fixture is devastating. Those two dropped points could be the difference between silverware and regret at the end of the season. Mikel Arteta's frustration was evident, even if carefully controlled. The Arsenal manager has repeatedly called for consistency and accountability in officiating, and this incident only reinforces his concerns. "We work extremely hard for our points," he said post-match. "When decisions like this are later admitted to be wrong, it's painful because there is nothing we can do to change the outcome." The Arsenal dressing room echoed that sentiment. Players who had given everything on the pitch were left wondering how such a clear incident could be ignored by a system designed specifically to prevent errors of this magnitude. Confidence, momentum, and belief all take a hit when players feel outcomes are being decided not by footballing performance, but by officiating failures. This latest controversy has once again dragged VAR into the spotlight, and not for the right reasons. Introduced to eliminate clear and obvious errors, VAR continues to produce confusion, inconsistency, and anger. Fans are increasingly questioning how a decision can be deemed wrong after the match, yet not corrected in real time when it actually matters. Pundits and former referees were quick to weigh in. Several agreed unanimously that the Maguire incident should have resulted in a penalty. Under IFAB handball laws, the criteria were clearly met: the arm was away from the body, the player made himself bigger, and the contact directly affected a dangerous attacking situation. In short, it ticked every box. The sense of injustice is amplified by the growing perception that Arsenal suffer disproportionately from such decisions. Over recent seasons, the club has been on the wrong end of multiple high-profile VAR errors, many of which were later admitted by officials. While every team experiences bad decisions, the pattern surrounding Arsenal has become impossible to ignore. Supporters feel increasingly disillusioned. Football is built on emotion, belief, and fairness, and moments like this erode trust in the system. When fans leave the stadium talking more about referees than football, something has gone wrong. The Premier League markets itself as the best and most competitive league in the world, but controversies like this undermine its credibility. Technology is available, multiple camera angles exist, slow-motion replays are accessible, yet the correct decision still wasn't made. That raises uncomfortable questions about competence, communication, and accountability within VAR. Apologies after the fact do little to ease the pain. Arsenal don't get the points back. The table doesn't change. The damage is done. In elite football, where success and failure are separated by the smallest of margins, such errors have long-lasting consequences. As the season moves forward and the title race intensifies, this incident may come back to haunt Arsenal. If the league is decided by a handful of points, the Maguire handball will be remembered as a pivotal moment, not because of what happened on the pitch, but because of what VAR failed to do. Despite the setback, Arsenal must regroup and refocus. Their performances continue to show resilience, quality, and championship mentality. But no team should have to overcome not only their opponents, but also repeated officiating failures. Once again, Arsenal were left with the same unanswered question echoing around the league: if VAR cannot correct a clear penalty in a crucial match, what is it really there for?